Your state's most watched news starts now.
Good Thursday morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News where it's 5 o'clock. I'm Michael Hayslip. We are off to a clear, cool, and crisp start, but we're going to have plenty of sunshine. It's going to lift us into the latter part of the week. We'll start with a look at our Thursday morning temperatures. Check out Neodesha and Parsons dipping down to 37 and 38 respectively. Joplin sits at 44. We've already got a 50 in Miami. And it's just a beautiful shot outside when you look at the Skywatch tower cam because clear, the skies are clear as can be, the stars shining down, Skywatch storm tracker. Important thing, it is dry on this Thursday morning. We do not have to worry about any rain rolling in from the west, big high pressure system sitting over us. As a matter of fact, even down there in Texas throughout the Gulf where they've been pummeled for the past couple of days, they get a chance to actually take a breath as well. As far as what we're looking at for future track, we get through today all the way up into the mid 60s. So that's going to be a nice mild May day. A little cloud creep in there tonight. And any scattered rain that we do get is going to stay up there in the north and then make its way through the central portion Friday afternoon. But it's not going to slow us down temperature-wise as we're able to have some 70s thrown up on Friday. And we continue that trend for Saturday and Sunday. Now, speaking of the weekend, that's when we will get some thunderstorm activity for Saturday morning. And then we get a break Saturday afternoon, revamp again on Sunday. And then the thunderstorms keep on rolling with those warmer temperatures and that instability lasting all the way from Monday into Wednesday.
So enjoy the break from the rain today.
Today's going to be gorgeous.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, many of you may still be on the fence as to whether or not you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. With all the information that's come out about the vaccines, it can feel overwhelming at times to make an informed decision. Well, here's your chance to set the record straight. It is Vaccine Day. Beginning at 6 a.m. and ending at 6:30 p.m., we'll have experts from Mercy Hospital Joplin to take your calls and answer your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll be live from the call center all day long to get updates and hear from local health experts. You'll be able to find that phone number down at the bottom of the screen or on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, now that supply is able to meet demand, officials say now one of the biggest obstacles to ending the pandemic is vaccine hesitancy. A poll by the Associated Press NORC Center found about 1 in 5 people who remain unvaccinated say they probably or definitely will not get vaccinated. That hesitancy led to a decline in daily vaccination rates nationwide, including in Cherokee County, Kansas.
3 or 4 weeks ago, we started to see those numbers plateau, and the demand hasn't been there. So we've suspended the weekly vaccination clinics, and they're still being offered at the health department, but the numbers just weren't there to justify having those weekly mass events.
Cherokee County Sheriff Groves tells us it's important to get your information from a trusted medical source before you make a decision about the vaccine. A CDC advisory committee yesterday afternoon voted in favor of using Pfizer's vaccine for children as young as 12. On Monday, the FDA authorized the expanded use of the Pfizer vaccine, which clinical trials found to be 100% effective in that age group. Pfizer officials say side effects were generally consistent with those seen in adults. We'll have more Vaccine Day coverage as we continue through the morning. Be sure to head to our vaccine page on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vaccine. You'll be able to find the resources you need to get your shot, and that's also where you can submit any questions you have about the vaccine. To our other top stories this morning, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office offers a $500 reward for information that leads to the arrest of Gravestone vandals. Officials discovered these damaged headstones Tuesday at the Lowell Cemetery located right outside of Baxter Springs. They ask anyone with information to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Well, some people expect to see a surge in job seekers after pandemic unemployment benefits in Missouri end. On Tuesday, the governor announced Missouri will end pandemic-related unemployment benefits. The goal is to get more people into the workforce, and officials with the Job Center in Joplin expect that to happen. So the office is going to open without appointments for the first time in 14 months.
I just wanted us to be able to serve those individuals as well as we can and as efficiently as we can. And so that's why I'm encouraging people to, call and set up an appointment. Let us know what you need.
The Job Center has several programs for certifications coming up, and we have more information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. In a statement yesterday, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly's spokesperson said the governor does not intend to end the federal unemployment benefits early. The spokesperson said the governor's primary focus is continuing her administration's efforts recruiting new businesses and jobs to Kansas. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has signed a bill to expand early in-person voting by 1 day during general elections. Governor Stitt signed a bill late last night to add 1 day of early in-person voting from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the Wednesday before a general election. Oklahoma currently has 2.5 days of early voting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The governor also vetoed a bill that would have expanded the definition of bullying. Governor Stitt cited in his veto message the potential for unintended consequences. He said the expansion could lead to innocent behavior treated as bullying by overzealous authorities. Oklahoma bar patrons will be permitted to take their drink to go for at least another year. Governor Stitt yesterday signed into law the Oklahoma Cocktails to Go Act of 2021. It goes into effect immediately. It allows bars and restaurants to sell cocktails, mixed drinks, or single-serve wine in sealed containers to go. The Cocktails to Go Act is set to be repealed a year from now. It's 5:07.
6:11 will be sunrise over Joplin. Unlike the previous days of this work/school week, we won't have to wait for the clouds to part to get a little sunshine. We're going to take it right off the bat, and we need it because temperatures have ranged as low as 37 degrees right now. We're going to have a quick little warm up, and even for this afternoon, mild May temps, as we will be in the high 60s. Today and tomorrow going to be perfect to get outside and do anything that you need. Saturday, we're going to call it fair. Sunday, we're going to call it poor, and here's why. Because we will begin to get just a little bit of rain here on Friday morning. You'll notice, though, as it works in from the northwest, does kind of want to break up over us during the morning hours. So it's not going to be widespread nor last too long. But then we've got additional rainfall that begins on Saturday morning. So by the time we get to Sunday, may be a little soggy out there, but at least we're re-emerging back into the mid-70s.
All right. Can't complain about that. Good temperatures. All right. Thanks, Michael. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, students struggling to cope.
The pandemic continues posing many problems, especially for students. I'm Marianne Rafferty with more on how educators say COVID-19 could be contributing to kids dropping out of school. That's straight ahead.
Plus, Pittsburgh finishes up the regular season with an interstate matchup against Nevada. We'll have the highlights. And with the CDC granting authorization for the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 to 15, some believe it could be a turning point in the pandemic. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh Purple Dragons winners in 5 of their last 6 games. Came into last night 13-6 overall. Yesterday, PHS finishing up the regular season with an interstate matchup against Nevada. Now, as far as the Tigers, they come in 18-5. Cooper Hayden on the mound for the Purple Dragons. Strike out at that point. Pittsburgh out to a 4-1 lead. Now, runners on first and third. Jackson Turnbull all the way to the wall in left center. That's going to make it 5-1, and the Tigers not going down quietly, though. In the 7th, Lane Wilson to left. That scores Cade Bushore. Nevada gets 2 in the 7th, but Hayden, the strikeout to end the game. Complete game for Cooper Hayden. One of his 5 strikeouts right there. Pittsburgh wins at 5-3, goes 3-0 this season against Missouri opponents. We have a pair of 4-state student athletes signing to continue their careers in college. First up at Joplin High School, Micah Brogaman signing to keep running track and cross country at the next level. Brogaman's going D1, signing to run at a little MIZZOU. And get this, he's got the best mile time in school history. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Tigers are getting a good one.
I watched guys above me go to places they always wanted to go, and now it's my turn, and I got teammates that are in my position where I was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, getting to look up to me how I looked up to guys above me. The SEC is really talented, especially this year. It's been loaded, so get to go compete and train with some of the best guys.
In Southeast Kansas, Fontenac's Raven Warren signing to continue her softball career in college. Congratulations, kiddo. She's staying in SEK, signing to play for Allen County Community College, where she will play on the infield for the Red Devils.
It means so much to me. I've been dreaming of this since I was 10, and I've worked really hard, and I've tried to play as much ball as I can just to get here. I liked the coaches, and they had some really good philosophies that really stuck out to me, and I thought that it would be a really good fit for me.
Congratulations to both the Brogaman and the Warren families right there. Somebody asked Lucas if he shed a tear. I know he did. This week, a big week for the 6th-ranked Crowder College Rough Riders. Crowder hits the field in Joplin, aiming for another Region 16 championship under head coach Travis Lallemand. Our own sports reporter Danny Terzer with the story.
Crowder's baseball program has experienced a winning history under the leadership of head coach Travis Lallemand.
Their job is to uphold the standards of the program, and the standard is to be at a high competitive rate in May, and I think that's more of a environment around our program as much as anything.
This team has an opportunity to uphold that standard this weekend as they compete for their 6th regional title since 2005.
It's pretty cool to just wear the name Rough Rider across your chest because, I mean, that's something of itself, to come out here and be able to represent the wonderful program that's been set before us and then to keep representing this wonderful program.
Crowder has been working towards postseason success since day one.
We're not preparing for the tournament today. We've started preparing way back in August.
The Rough Riders are keeping their postseason preparation simple.
We don't try to change our mindset, change anything from postseason to regular season. We just continue to show up and play the game that we've been playing.
In my opinion, there's not a whole lot of decisions to be made in the postseason. You just simply look back at your 52-game schedule and see what worked and kind of repeat those things.
They've built a 46-6 record over 52 games.
We've got some fear bats in the lineup, as we call them. Guys that can put up some damaged swings, and it results in some big innings for us at times.
Clutch hitting is another key.
Winning twos is a big thing, and winning championships. If you can win with 2 outs, you can win with 2 strikes, it increases your chances a lot.
The strategy for Game 53 won't be much different.
We have a saying around here, and it's just be who we are, and that's all we can ask for out of our players. And if we can do that, it increases our chances for success.
In Joplin, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Crowder's regional tournament opener against Metropolitan takes place this afternoon. First pitch 4 o'clock at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, a deadly conflict.
As tensions continue between Israelis and Palestinians, a call for peace from the international community. I'm Laura Podesta with how the U.S. is trying to quell the violence.
And to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Just a little past 5:17 on this Thursday morning. It's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous start. Just got to stay warm before the sun pops up at 6:11. We've got 30s right now, ranging from Neodesha, Parsons, and Iola. A little bit warmer down to the south because of surface winds. You can see the arrows going just about everywhere. Coming out of the north where we've got the 30s. Miami and Grove, throw Jay in there, all the way up to 50. Anderson at 51. And now we've got 43s in Lamar and Carthage. So we are all over the board. Give you an idea about how unseasonably cold this is, though. Average low for May 13th should only be 55 degrees. So we're almost 20 degrees below that in portions of SEK. Just a little cloud cover down to the south. No precipitation to worry about. First time we've been able to say that during a morning show in a while, as all this will remain in the upper plains. Not really going to follow the jet stream down. Chance for the Gulf to finally cool off as well after what they've had for past several days. And the severe thunderstorm risk map really just keeping things up through northwest Kansas and then down into southern and central Nebraska. As far as what we'll have for our day planner, mid-60s today. Whole lot of sunshine. That'll give us a nice quick warm up. And then as we push into overnight, we'll actually be eyeballing just a little activity that'll come in from that northwestern area. Not looking at anything severe. You'll notice that it throws a little orange and yellow at us, but then as it moves through the 4 states, we gradually see that thing break up, and not everybody's going to have a chance to get some Friday rain. But then as we work into Saturday, coming off of a Friday in the 70s, Saturday we begin some additional thunderstorm activity right there, and so that's why we put Thursday and Friday in that good category. Saturday, yeah, that begins to get a little soggy. Went ahead and bumped Sunday down to poor. just because of the amount of moisture that we will be picking up by then. Temperatures, though, going to be delightful as we'll work our way up into the high 70s there with additional thunderstorm activity next week. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta Poll. With an eye toward herd immunity, top U.S. health officials are encouraging parents of 12 to 15-year-olds to get their children vaccinated now that the Pfizer vaccine has been granted emergency use authorization for that age group. Mandy Gaither with more on why some believe this could be a turning point in the pandemic.
After the Pfizer vaccine got the green light for those as young as 12, pharmacies and pediatricians across the U.S. are ready to put shots in arms.
I have so many families who are already asking, Dr. Edith, where do we go? When can we get this?
We're not really dealing with hesitancy as much as we are dealing with how to meet demand.
Still, in a recent poll, only 30% of parents with at least one child ages 12 to 15 say they'll vaccinate right away.
I recognize that some parents want to sort of see how it goes first, but I am encouraging all parents to get their children vaccinated. Some parents won't want to be first, but I'm also encouraging children to ask for the vaccine.
The U.S. has been ramping up efforts to vaccinate Americans to get ahead of spreading variants and with an eye toward achieving herd immunity. The expanded authorization means 85% of the U.S. population is now eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Some view this as a potential turning point in the pandemic.
With this vaccine, we can move in a different direction and really get on the other side of this.
Pfizer expects to submit for emergency use authorization for its vaccine for children ages 2 to 11 in September. Its trials for children ages 6 months to 11 years old is still ongoing. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Pfizer's vaccine had previously been authorized for people 16 and older. Vaccines from Moderna and Johnson & Johnson authorized for use in people 18 and older. Our question to you is, where do you currently stand on the vaccine? You can log on to our Facebook page, KOAM News Now, or take part in our Insta Poll, KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. We'll be back with Healthwatch next.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, as the country continues to reopen, many of the nation's school kids are still learning remote. Educators nationwide say many students are struggling to cope as worries the pandemic could lead to record high dropout rates persist. Marianne Rafferty reports.
The approval of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine for kids as young as 12 is generating hope, as the effects of the pandemic are still taking a heavy toll on many, especially students.
I never thought that a 6-year-old could get depressed, and my kid did. And his first experience with school as a kindergarten was remote, and that was very, very hard for him.
With more adolescents eligible to get the shots, educators hope this will help get students back into the classroom, as officials warn the pandemic could be contributing to a rise in children dropping out of school. According to Dr. Sandy Addis, chairman of the National Dropout Prevention Center, the pandemic has given many students an excuse not to continue their education. Academic professionals agree.
When you teach face-to-face in a classroom, that's a lot different than teaching virtually.
Although concrete data isn't available yet on just how many students have dropped out of school since last March, more than a year into the pandemic, and districts across the country say kids are at risk as they report more Fs on report cards and fewer students showing up to class.
I think it has been due to the shift to virtual learning.
As for students still learning online, some say they're struggling just to hold on.
All the homework assignments just stacking on top of each other, and I'm trying the best I can to just try to prioritize everything.
Meanwhile, younger kids may not have to wait too long to qualify for the vaccine, as Pfizer and Moderna have already began studies on kids 6 months to 11 years old. Patients who undergo bariatric surgery to lose weight may also lower their risk of developing eye cataracts. A European study tracked more than 58,000 obese patients and found the risk of cataracts dropped by 29% for those who had weight loss surgery. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
It is still chilly out there. Temperatures ranging as low as 37 degrees. In the Odyssey right now. We've got a smattering of 50s as well. Miami, Grove, Anderson already up to 51. And the nice thing is we're going to have a quick little warm up here, because after we hit sunrise at 6:11, we're going to jaunt up into the mid 60s here by this afternoon. And we're going to be clear and sunny. A little gradual cloud cover builds for the nighttime hours. Still looking at possibility of some Friday rain. Watch the top left-hand portion of your screen. Won't be here till Friday morning, and then it does a really good job breaking up over us. So not looking at anything severe. And since it's not widespread, you should be able to avoid any concerns about flooding, as everything really stays out to our west for most of Friday. That tune will change Saturday morning as it rolls in from the west. We'll be right back after this.
Good morning, I'm Tanya Bach with your KOAM News Update. Many of you may still be on the fence as to whether or not you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. With all the information that's come out about the vaccines, it can feel overwhelming at times to make an informed decision. Well, here's your chance to set the record straight. It's vaccine day. The phone lines are open now and will close at 6:30 p.m. Experts from Mercy Hospital Joplin are taking your calls and answering your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll be live from the call center all day long to get updates and hear from local health experts. To our other top story this morning, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office offers a $500 reward for information that leads to the arrest of Gravestone vandals. Officials discovered these damaged headstones Tuesday at the Lowell Cemetery right outside of Baxter Springs. They ask anyone with information to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Here's Michael with today's forecast.
Despite a chilly start, we'll be able to make it up into the 60s by the noon hour and top out in the mid-60s. This will be one of our warmest days that we've had this week, so at least we're headed in the right direction. Little Friday morning thunderstorm activity, but then we pick up in earnest there on Saturday and Sunday. But at least our temperatures are up into the mid-70s. All the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
It's vaccine day. We'll tell you how you can get all your vaccine questions answered by local experts. Plus, the CDC grants authorization for the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 to 15. And authorities in Cherokee County offer a reward for information that leads to the arrest of cemetery vandals.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. You may want to dress a little warmer today because we have at least one more chilly day ahead of us. Here's Michael Hayslip with a first look at your forecast.
Check out this shot.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, you couldn't paint it prettier than that. That is absolutely gorgeous. That's a live look outside of Television City right now. Trucks on their way to take care of all of our needs. Temperatures, it is chilly, as Tanya said. How about 30s ranging through southeast Kansas? Compare that to the 50s that we see in places like Miami, Grove, and Anderson. Joplin sits right now, right in between everybody, at 44 degrees. Midwest remaining quiet. Remember that green? That's just picked up by the sweeping radar. We removed that. Just a little light cloud cover ranging through northeast Oklahoma. Everybody else off to an extremely clear start. As far as our planner for today, sunrise officially over Joplin in, say, about 40 minutes. We'll call it 6:11 on this May 13th. And then temperatures into the mid-60s by noon, topping out in the high 60s. Still mild for May, but not too bad considering this week, we were stuck in the 50s for one day. So as far as day planner goes, looking good until we get into early Friday morning. But watch this thing want to break up as it moves in from the northwest over. So it's not going to be widespread, nor anything severe. Now Saturday changes our tune a little bit because it begins Saturday morning. Temperatures still able to make it up into the mid-70s on Saturday and Sunday, but thunderstorm activity rolling in on both of those mornings. I don't think Saturday is going to be a complete washout, but by the time Sunday rolls around, then we're starting to get a little soggy.
We'll keep an eye on things. Be prepared for the rain.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I don't think I'm going to be mowing anytime
worries.
soon. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, many of you may still be on the fence as to whether or not you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. With all the information that's come out about the vaccines, it can feel overwhelming at times to make an informed decision. Well, here's your chance to set the record straight. It is vaccine day, beginning 30 minutes from now at 6 a.m. and ending at 6:30 p.m. Experts from Mercy Hospital Joplin will take your calls and answer your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. We'll be live from the call center all day long to get updates and hear from local health experts. You'll be able to find that phone number down at the bottom of your screen. Additionally, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and submit a question there. More than a third of all Americans are now fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. However, that number varies widely from state to state. Here in the 4 states, Kansas leads the pack with 42.9% of the state's population having received the first dose. 30.5% are fully vaccinated. Oklahoma sits in second with 38.8% getting their first shot and 28.4% fully vaccinated. Following close behind is Missouri with 38.1% receiving the first dose. Its full vaccination rate is 26.2%. And rounding out the 4 states is Arkansas with 35.9% getting that first shot and 24.3% fully vaccinated. Health experts estimate about 20 to 85% of the population will need to be vaccinated to reach herd immunity for COVID-19. Well, those rates could rise as the vaccine becomes available to a wider age group. CDC Advisory Committee yesterday afternoon voted in favor of using Pfizer's vaccine for children as young as 12. On Monday, the FDA authorized the expanded use of the Pfizer vaccine, which clinical trials found to be 100% effective in that age group. Pfizer officials say side effects were generally consistent with those seen in adults. We'll have more Vaccine Day coverage as we continue through the morning. Be sure to head to the vaccine page on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vaccine. That's where you'll be able to find the resources you need to get your shot. And that's also where you can submit any questions you may have about the vaccine. Now to our other top stories this morning. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office offers a $500 reward for information leading to the arrest of Gravestone vandals. Officials discovered these damaged headstones Tuesday at the Lowell Cemetery, located right outside of Baxter Springs. They ask anyone with information to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. A Parsons, Kansas man is in jail, accused of punching and then shooting a woman at a gas station. It happened around 10 Tuesday night. Police say the suspect got into an argument with the victim at the Pete's on Main Street in Parsons. And that argument spilled outside and turned violent when police say the suspect punched the victim and then shot at her multiple times. The woman was not hit by any of the shots. The suspect walked away from the scene and was arrested later on North Central. Authorities have not yet filed any formal charges. Missouri's gasoline tax could increase for the first time in decades. Missouri lawmakers passed legislation this week that, if signed by Governor Mike Parson, would increase the gas tax to pay for road and bridge maintenance. The tax would increase by 2.5 cents a year until hitting a total of 29.5 cents per gallon in 2025. One area nonprofit says this could do more harm than good for the area seniors. The agency depends on volunteers, and they fear an increase in the gas tax could cause them to lose those volunteers.
When times get tough and you look at your budget and decide that, nope, I can't deliver meals for the agency anymore. Maybe I can volunteer at the senior center and not incur that extra expense. My concern is losing volunteers because of higher gas prices.
If Governor Parson signs the bill into law, it'll go into effect in October. Some people expect to see a surge in job seekers after pandemic unemployment benefits in Missouri end. On Tuesday, the governor announced Missouri will end pandemic-related unemployment benefits. The goal is to get more people into the workforce, and officials with the Job Center in Joplin expect that to happen. So the office is going to open without appointments for the first time in 14 months.
I just wanted us to be able to serve those individuals as well as we can and as efficiently as we can. And so that's why I'm encouraging people to, call and set up an appointment. Let us know what you need.
The Job Center has several programs for certifications coming up. We'll have more information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Missouri Senate votes to limit when police can use chokeholds. The bill's bipartisan passage in the GOP-led Senate represents a rare step by state lawmakers to take action in response to police violence. Little has been done by Missouri's Republican legislature since a Ferguson police officer fatally shot 18-year-old Michael Brown in 2014. Suburban St. Louis Senator Brian Williams this year proposed banning police chokeholds following George Floyd's death. The bill was pared back to allow police to use chokeholds only in self-defense if they or someone else are in serious danger. Governor Parson is threatening to veto the reform bill because of a provision that would give the legislature power to issue subpoenas requiring people to testify before committees. Governor says the provision gives lawmakers too much power. In the past, House members accused the Parson administration of not complying with their requests for information, prompting them to seek more power to punish people who do not cooperate with their investigations. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, is that an American twang creeping into Harry Styles' speech? Janine Moose reports fans of Styles are riled. Plus, United Nations officials call for a ceasefire between Israel and the Palestinians. We have the latest on the fighting that could lead to a full-scale war. But first, it's 5:37.
Chilly for our Thursday morning, but we got a quick warm up on our hands as we'll be in the 60s by the noon hour and top out up into the high 60s. Overnight, how nice is this going to be if we can hold on to the 50s? Comparatively speaking, we've got 37s out there right now. Future track clear today. Bring us a little Friday morning rain out of the northwest. Breaks up over us, not widespread. We'll pick up legitimate thunderstorm activity Saturday morning and Sunday morning, but at least our temperatures back to where they should be for this time of May in the mid-70s. Be back with World Watch next.
Topping World Watch, clashes between Israelis and Palestinians continue while the international community urges the two sides to de-escalate. Gaza's health ministry says at least 69 Palestinians have been killed, including 16 children. 7 people have been killed in Israel, including at least 1 child yesterday. CBS News' Laura Podesta reports on the deadly conflict, which has resulted in protest here in the U.S.
Israeli airstrikes hit right next to the Gaza City bureau of the Associated Press as tensions continue to soar in the Middle East. Watch as this building, the tallest in Gaza, comes crumbling down after a separate airstrike. The Israeli military says it's in response to Gaza militants firing more than 1,600 rockets at Israel since Monday. A UN spokesperson delivered a warning from the Secretary General.
Israeli security forces must exercise maximum restraint and calibrate their use of force.
The violence also spilled into the streets of Israel, with groups of Jews and Arabs clashing. Israeli media says this is video of an angry mob attacking an Arab driver in the town of Bat Yam. Eyewitnesses insist it was after the driver tried to run them over. Here in the U.S., protesters are taking to the streets. Palestinian supporters marched in Chicago yesterday, while people holding up the Israeli flag gathered in New York City's Times Square. President Biden spoke by phone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and later said Israel has justification to protect its citizens.
Israel has a right to defend itself when you have thousands of rockets flying into your territory.
The president also called on Palestinians to de-escalate. This round of violence began weeks ago when Israel restricted gatherings during Ramadan and moved to evict some Palestinians from their homes in East Jerusalem. The U.S. is now sending an envoy to try to work out a ceasefire. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Egyptian diplomats and United Nations officials are also involved in talks to negotiate a ceasefire. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta Poll, with an eye toward herd immunity, top U.S. health officials encouraging parents of 12 to 15-year-olds to get the children vaccinated. However, officials say now one of the biggest obstacles to ending the pandemic is vaccine hesitancy. A poll by the Associated Press Nork Center found about 1 in 5 people who remain unvaccinated say they probably or definitely won't get vaccinated. Our question for you this morning is, where do you currently stand on the vaccine? Right now, 51% of you say not getting one, compared to 36% that say fully vaccinated. We've got about 5 different options for you there, and you can make your voice heard by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this. Good Thursday morning. Michael Hayslip with you in the Skywatch Weather Center. After a very chilly Chilly Thursday that dropped us as low as 37 degrees in portions of southeast Kansas. The rebound is now on. We've got plenty of sunshine and working our way up into the mid-60s. And then overnight, we're able to hang on to the 50s, so that'll be a delightful change. Little chance for some Friday morning activity that works in from the northwest, not widespread. Temps in the mid-70s, but T-storms over the weekend. 6:30 this morning, ending at 6:30 this evening. We've got experts from Mercy Hospital Joplin taking your calls, answering your questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. We're going to be live from the call center all day long, receiving updates, hearing from 4 state health experts, and you'll be able to find that phone number right down there at the bottom of your screen. Additionally, you can visit our website. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com, submit your question there, and we will have one of our experts from Mercy Joplin answer it for you. On the KOAM News Now Insta Poll page, Facebook page, and our morning Insta Poll, asking where do you currently stand on the vaccine? Right now, 46% of you say not getting one, compared to 44% who say fully vaccinated. 8% of you coming in with uncertain, and if you have any questions, please take advantage of the experts that we have with us from 6:30 this morning to 6:30 this evening at Mercy Joplin, and we'll get as many of those questions answered for you as we can. Now, over to Tanya in Studio K.
All right, well, singer Harry Styles managed to rile his fans with what some perceived as an American accent. Ginny Moose reports on an acceptance speech by the British pop star that some found unacceptable.
Harry Styles had tongues wagging at the Brit Awards, not because of his style. It wasn't the Gucci suit or even the Gucci handbag. When Harry won for Best British Single, Watermelon Sugar, some of his fans weren't sweet on his accent.
I just continue to be baffled by moments like this.
His fans were baffled by what they thought sounded like an American accent. Shocked me to the core. So cringy. Keep your British accent. Like the one in the movie Dunkirk?
Run me one of them papers. Go on.
Or the one when he hosted SNL.
Music is the universal language, especially songs performed in English, because that's the only language that I understand.
But his language at the Brit Awards seemed tinged with an American twang.
I want to thank my fans for being so generous to me, always.
Has Harry Styles set his accent to shuffle?
And everyone in my life who has my back, thank you so much. I love you.
One fan threatened, if he starts sounding any more American, I'm taking his poster off my wall.
This one's for you. Thank you very, very much.
An anguished fan wondered why. Maybe because Harry's been shooting a movie called Don't Worry, Darling, in which he plays a California businessman in the 1950s. Olivia! Or maybe it's because he's dating an American, the movie's director, Olivia Wilde. But even if you're not wild about his evolving accent, Harry Styles has a way with words, especially when comparing Styles with James Corden.
But I mean, it works.
It's a bit nipply.
Yours is nipply, my actual nipple's through.
I love how when someone loses their accent, it's called an American accent. That's interesting. We'll be right back.
Gorgeous looking start outside of Television City. Here's a live look. Couldn't paint a sunrise any prettier than that, especially considering the past couple of days we've had to put up with the overcast skies, so it's going to be just a beautiful Thursday. 43 degrees is where we stand right now, so it is a little chilly, as low as 37 and 38 in Neodesha and in Parsons. 50s down to the south right there in Miami, Grove, and Anderson, our warm spot right now at 51. That's also where we get a little bit of cloud cover. It's amazing what those clouds can do and just trap in heat. They may give you about 12, 13 degree difference some mornings. Now, riding the jet stream right here, that's really not going to affect us at all. It's not going to be able to ride down into the trough of the jet stream. We're not going to have to really worry about any precipitation until we get to tomorrow morning. And the severe thunderstorm risk map right there where that thing's bubbling right there. But you can tell, cuts off before it gets to us. So that's good news as we will get some thunderstorm activity from Friday into Sunday. So we'll take a day break and push all the way up into the mid to high 60s later on today. Overnight, this is welcome relief. we get to hang on to the 50s. Don't have to worry about falling down into the 30s, probably any longer for the most part. As we get into Friday, we'll pay attention to the northwest. Going to push through. Watch it break up, though, as it kind of gets over us. So it's not going to be widespread activity for Friday. That will be a little bit different on Saturday and Sunday as it'll move in from the west. Saturday morning, then we get a break, and then right back at it Sunday. We'll be back right after this.
It's Vaccine Day. We'll tell you how you can get all your vaccine questions answered by local experts. Plus, the CDC grants authorization for the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 to 15. And authorities in Cherokee County offer a reward for information that leads to the arrest of cemetery vandals.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The phone lines are open. This is live video from a Mercy Hospital call center where experts are ready to answer your COVID vaccine-related questions. All you have to do is call the number at the bottom of your screen. Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News Vaccine Day Special. It is 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We're going to check back in with the call center in just a little bit. But first, let's take a look at the forecast.
And gorgeous Thursday morning start. Look at the sun creeping over the horizon right there. We're officially 10 minutes away from sunrise over Joplin. We need a little bit of a warm up because we're starting to see more 30s emerge in southeast Kansas, as low as 37 in Parsons. Certainly the southern portion of the 4 states looking much better, 50 in Miami and 51 in Anderson. And then Joplin splitting the difference along with Carthage, where it is 43. The Skywatch storm tracker remains on the clear side. Got to range all the way up to the far northwest to find any precipitation, and it's a state and a half away. As far as what we have for our day planner, pushing up into the mid 60s by the noon hour, high 60s later on. Even though those are mild May temps, not too bad, all things considered. What we had earlier this week is we're finally due for some sunshine. Friday morning up to the northwest, we see a little bit trying to emerge, but when you notice that orange and that yellow, watch this thing break up as it progresses through our counties. So all things considered, not too bad, and it'll be done by the afternoon, evening hours. Not going to be widespread. Not everybody's going to get Friday rain. Saturday, that tune will change a little bit because Saturday and Sunday mornings, it will be more widespread. Temperatures creeping into the mid 70s though, and the thunderstorms wanting to stick around with the warmth into next week.
All right. Hey, we'll get the warmth. Unfortunately, it's going to bring the more rain, but you know.
Spotty though, not one of those where we even show up on the severe thunderstorm risk map on Friday or Saturday. So we call that a winner.
That brings up the question, where are we at in our rainfall right now? Are we ahead?
Right on our historic norm.
It needs to rain every now and then.
The deceiving thing is that we compare everything to last year, where at this point in time we were talking about the possibility of having historic rain numbers. So it's a good 8-9 inches difference from where we were in 2020. But historically speaking, right there where we should be.
Well, we also haven't had the hot temperatures to dry us out and make it everything to where you need that rain. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, it is Vaccine Day, and as I mentioned earlier, the phone lines are open right now. Our own Zach Dodge joins us live from the call center at Mercy Hospital. He tells us what to expect today and how you can participate. Zach?
Tanya, as you can see behind me, we have several healthcare experts patiently waiting for the phones to ring. And these experts have made themselves available all day, specifically answer your questions at home about the COVID vaccine. The phone bank runs until 6:30 p.m. That number you can see at the bottom of your screen is 1-800-942-2727. It will immediately contact you to one of these call center experts. And I want to make it clear, there is no such thing as a dumb question, so please don't be afraid to call. Additionally, you can visit our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine and submit a question there. Later in the show, we'll hear from one of the healthcare experts about what the most common questions are about the vaccine and what spurs vaccine hesitancy. Tanya?
All right, Zach, thank you very much. We're going to see you and check in with you a little bit later in the show. More than a third of all Americans are now fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. However, that number varies widely from state to state. Here in the 4 states, Kansas leads the pack with 42.9% of the state's population having received their first dose. 30.5% are fully vaccinated. Oklahoma sits in second with 38.8% getting their first shot and 28.4% fully vaccinated. And following close behind is Missouri with 38.1% receiving the first dose. Its full vaccination rate is 26.2%. And rounding out the 4 states is Arkansas with 35.9% getting that first shot and 24.3% fully vaccinated. Health experts estimate about 70 to 85% of the population will need to be vaccinated to reach herd immunity for COVID-19. Well, vaccine hesitancy continues to play a major role in declining daily vaccination numbers nationwide. In Cherokee County, Kansas, officials say they saw numbers plateau about 3 to 4 weeks ago. A poll by the Associated Press NORC Center found about 1 in 5 people who remain unvaccinated say they probably or definitely will not get vaccinated. Sheriff David Grove says if you are among those still unsure about the vaccine, to make sure you do your homework before you make a decision.
If somebody was on the fence, my suggestion would be to do research from a trusted medical source, because you get a lot of hype. You know, there's pro and against.
We'll have some of those resources you need to make an informed decision on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vaccine. That's also where you can submit any questions you have about the vaccine. Of course, call our call center. The phone number is at the bottom of your screen. A CDC advisory committee yesterday afternoon voted in favor of using Pfizer's vaccine for children as young as 12. On Monday, the FDA authorized the expanded use of the Pfizer vaccine, which clinical trials found to be 100% effective in that age group. Pfizer officials say side effects were generally consistent with those seen in adults. We'll have more Vaccine Day coverage as we continue through the morning. Again, that number at the bottom of your screen will connect you to an expert at Mercy Hospital. They will be available to answer all of your COVID vaccine questions until 6:30 this evening. Our other top stories this morning: the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office offers a $500 reward for information leading to the arrest of Gravestone vandals. Officials discovered these damaged headstones Tuesday at the Lowell Cemetery, located right outside of Baxter Springs. They ask anyone with information to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. A Parsons, Kansas man is in jail accused of punching and then shooting at a woman at a gas station. It happened around 10 Tuesday night. Police say the suspect got into an argument with the victim at the Pete's on Main Street in Parsons. That argument spilled outside and turned violent when police say the suspect punched the victim and then shot at her multiple times. The woman was not hit by any of the shots. The suspect walked away from the scene and was arrested later on North Central. Authorities have not yet filed formal charges. Grand River Dam Authority wants boaters, especially young boaters, to stay safe on the water. They're reminding folks as boating season ramps up that boaters ages 12 to 16 must take a state-approved boater safety course. The GRDA is hosting these safety courses for free on June 12th and 19th. Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce hosted a job fair yesterday to get hiring jump-started there. The job fair was at Pittsburgh's Memorial Auditorium. The event free and, well, you still have time to get there because it runs until 7 tonight. Local employers are there to discuss job opportunities and available positions.
Our business actually has increased wages to attract new hires. We've done an across-the-board increase. We're implementing that right now, and we are trying to increase our wages generally for our current employees and new employees as well.
The Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas is also at the job fair offering free COVID-19 vaccinations to anyone who wants one. 6:07.
Jacket weather out in the western portion of southeast Kansas, as low as 36 degrees right now in Neodesha. Compare that to the 51 that Anderson's at. Joplin sits at 43. Don't worry though, by the noon hour, everybody is into the 60s and finish off the afternoon up into the high 60s. Love the fact that overnight lows now creeping into the 50s for the rest of the week. Thunderstorm activity really sets in for Saturday and Sunday morning.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, our own Zach Dodge returns with some vaccine Q&A.
We have experts waiting by the phones to answer your questions about the COVID vaccine. We'll hear from one of those experts coming up.
And around 135,000 fans will be on hand for the Indy 500 later this month. What precautions officials plan to keep spectators safe at the Speedway. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, a tradition will resume this month, a year after it was put on hold because of the pandemic. Racing fans have been looking forward to it. Matt Napolitano has the story.
Fans were forced to watch last year's Indianapolis 500 remotely. COVID-19 restrictions in Indiana not only pushed the iconic race to September, but also kept the stands empty. Now, Indianapolis Motor Speedway officials are preparing to operate at 40% of its capacity, meaning roughly 135,000 fans will be on hand to watch the race on May 30th. They'll be required to wear masks, temperatures will be checked at the gate, and social distancing guidelines will be in place. It will be the largest in-person crowd for a sporting event since the start of the pandemic. Outdoor stadiums seeing more leniency than indoor venues, with some Major League Baseball stadiums opting for separate sections for fans who have been vaccinated and those who haven't. In New York, both Yankee Stadium and Citi Field even offering the opportunity to get the vaccine before going to the game.
Come a little bit early and get your vaccine at the game. You're going to the game anyway.
Those stadiums taking a page from the Milwaukee Bucks, who offered vaccinations on site to fans attending a recent home game at Fiserv Forum. Regardless of the sport or the venue, the goal remains the same: ditching the cardboard cutouts and getting those truly devoted to the team back where they belong.
The Atlanta Braves have already been able to open Truist Park to full capacity this season, with Atlanta Motor Speedway gearing up to do the same for NASCAR action in July. Even NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told fans he's optimistic there will be zero restrictions on stadium capacity when the NFL kicks off its new season in September. Uncle Ben's revamped packaging is now available. Parent company Mars Food says Ben's Original can be found at retailers nationwide. Last year, the company announced it was overhauling the name and image because it was rooted in racial stereotypes. The new packaging keeps the same orange color and blue font, but it gets rid of the image of Uncle Ben, a possibly fictitious black rice farmer. Some Uncle Ben's products will remain on store shelves until they sell out. First it was ketchup, and now it's Chick-Fil-A sauce. The chicken fast food chain is experiencing a shortage on sauces. Right now, customers will only be given one dipping sauce cup per item. The company says it's having supply issues, but it's working to fix the problems as quickly as possible. Better get that sauce in. Hey graduates, today is your day. Krispy Kreme is bringing back its graduation dozen for graduating high school and college seniors. They just have to show up at a participating Krispy Kreme on May 13th with class of 2021 graduate swag, such as a t-shirt. A box of donuts is a mixture of various donuts, and the middle row has 2021 written in icing. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Krispy Kreme. Celebrating diversity in the toy aisle, the popular card game Uno teamed up with the It Gets Better project to create a brand new deck called Uno Play with Pride. Mattel says the Uno brand is celebrating inclusivity in the LGBTQ+ community with the new edition of the classic game. Uno Play with Pride is available at Target for $6. That's it for Money Watch. Let's toss it over to Michael.
Tell you what, Tanya, a gorgeous start outside of Television City and a perfect day to host what we call Vaccine Day. Right now, we have people on the call bank at Mercy Hospital Joplin to answer all your COVID-19 vaccine-related questions. Our own Zach Dodge out there as well. Phone lines are now open. You can find the number right there on the bottom of your screen, 800-942-2727. There they are, standing by, able to answer any of the calls you have related to the vaccine. And we'll check back in with our own Zach Dodge here in just a little bit. You can also log on to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Current conditions outside, 43 degrees is where we stand. It is getting chilly out here in southeast Kansas, where Neodesha has dropped to 36 degrees, Parsons clinging to 37. We've also seen our numbers drop throughout northeast Oklahoma. They were holding on to 50. Anderson's still right there, and 43 right now in Joplin. Cloud cover that we did have down to the south receding now, so it's going to be just a gorgeous, gorgeous morning. You can tell by the color contour of the temperature, just that little warm bubble, and that's why we did have those 50s down to the south. This right here in Nebraska, it will stay up there for the time being, not going to affect our Thursday weather at all. And that's mirrored by the severe thunderstorm risk map. You can tell we're cut short for Thursday into Friday. Temperatures going to make it up into the mid 60s with a whole bunch of sunshine today. Still mild temperatures for this time of year, but certainly not too bad, especially considering overnight lows stay in the 50s. Next shot for rain going to present itself for Friday morning. We'll pay attention to the northwest. What it does do, though, kind of breaks up as it gets over us. So not everybody's going to get Friday morning rain. Friday, we're into the 70s, roll 70s again on Saturday and Sunday with thunderstorm activity each morning over the weekend. We'll be back with more KOAM morning news on this vaccine day right after this.
It's Vaccine Day. We'll tell you how you can get all your vaccine questions answered by local experts. Plus, the CDC grants authorization for the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 to 15. And authorities in Cherokee County offer a reward for information that leads to the arrest of cemetery vandals.
The 4 states most watched news starts now.
The phone lines are still open, and you've got plenty of time to call in to get all of your COVID vaccine related questions answered. Now, this video comes to us live from our Vaccine Day call center at Mercy Hospital, Joplin. The number, you'll see it there right on the bottom of your screen. Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News Vaccine Day special. It is 6:30 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We're going to check back in with the call center in just a little bit, but first let's take a look at the forecast with Michael.
We got a potential record on our hands that we just set preliminarily. I gotta wait for the National Weather Service to sign off on it, but you get what I'm talking about. Gorgeous, but chilly. Here's what I want to focus in on. It is going to be Chanute, Kansas, right there. 38 degrees. That would indicate a record low for May 13th. The previous record of 39 dates back to 1910. 1910. That's how cold it is. Chanute's not the coldest one either. Neodesha sitting at 36. Joplin at 43, and then we get warmer down to the south. At least Miami and Anderson holding on to 49 and 50 respectively. Beautiful start though. Just a little cloud cover down to the south. That's why it makes a difference there as far as those temperatures go. Now, by the time we get to the noon hour, everybody's in the 60s, despite the fact that we're talking about record-breaking cold in the middle of May. But it's going to be a delightful afternoon with plenty of sunshine until everything just kind of clears off. A little cloud ebb and flow here as we get to the afternoon, evening hours. Friday morning, we got one that sweeps in from the northwest. Breaks up, though, right over us, so not one of those that even puts us on the severe thunderstorm risk map. After we get out of this morning, you notice those overnight lows make it up into the 50s and 60s as we head into the weekend. We do have thunderstorm activity and warm days on Saturday and Sunday. Those will roll through Saturday morning and then again on Sunday morning. Those will be more widespread than certainly what we will see Friday.
All right. We'll keep an eye on those.
Record breaker.
Ready for a warm up in temperatures.
Ooh.
Record. Wow. All right, thanks.
Tell you what, I was watching that drop out there, and I knew that record was from 1910. I was hoping we weren't going to get there.
A little chilly. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, it is Vaccine Day, and as I mentioned earlier, the phone lines are open right now. Our own Zach Dodge joins us live from the call center at Mercy Hospital, and he's going to tell us what you can expect today and how you can participate. Zach?
Tanya, as you can see behind me, we have several healthcare experts patiently waiting by the phones for your questions. They've set aside all day long to specifically answer any questions you may have at home about the COVID-19 vaccines. The phone bank runs until 6:30 p.m. That number you see at the bottom of your screen is 1-800-942-2727. It will immediately connect you to one of these call center experts. And I want to make it clear there's no such thing as a bad question. So please don't be afraid to call. Additionally, you can visit our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine and submit a question there. A little bit later in the show, we'll hear from another one of the healthcare experts here at Mercy about some things you may not know about the shot. So be sure to flip on over at 7. Tanya?
All right, thank you so much, Zach. Do you mind switching over with us on Fox 14 at 7? All right, look forward to having you. Well, many of our 4-state counties see a decline in the number of people getting the vaccine, and that includes in Ottawa County. Health officials there say since supply caught up with demand, anyone who wants a shot should have no problem getting one. They say one of the main reasons for the decline is vaccine hesitancy.
Hesitancy that we're seeing in our rural counties. And that's something that we're trying to address and trying to put positive messaging out there about the vaccine. Hopefully people will continue to take it.
Officials in Cherokee County, Kansas say they've had similar problems with vaccine hesitancy.
3 or 4 weeks ago, we started to see those numbers plateau, and the demand hasn't been there. So we've suspended the weekly vaccination clinics, and they're still being offered at the health department, but the numbers just weren't there to justify having those weekly mass events.
Sheriff Groves tells us it's important to get your information from a trusted medical source before you make a decision about the vaccine. You can do that easily today by calling the number that you see on the bottom of your screen and talking to a Mercy Health official on the phone today. Those lines are open until 6:30 tonight. A CDC advisory committee yesterday afternoon voted in favor of using Pfizer's vaccine for children as young as 12. On Monday, the FDA authorized the expanded use of the Pfizer vaccine, which clinical trials found to be 100% effective in that age group. Pfizer officials say side effects were generally consistent with those seen in adults. We'll have more Vaccine Day coverage as we continue through the morning. Be sure to head on to the vaccine page on our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. You'll be able to find the resources you need to get your shot. That's also where you can submit any questions you have about the vaccine. Our other top stories this morning, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office offers a $500 reward for information that leads to the arrest of Gravestone vandals. Officials discovered damaged headstones Tuesday at the Lowell Cemetery located right outside of Baxter Springs. They ask anyone with information to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. And an independent production will hit the stage at Pittsburgh State's Bicknell Center for the first time in more than a year. Midwest Regional Ballet is performing Oz starting today. Organizers say the show features funky punk rock style with pop covers of the classical movies music.
Oh my gosh, like a breath of fresh air. I can't even explain how much I've been waiting for this and the anticipation for the show to finally come.
Again, the shows will be at PSU's Bicknell Family Center for the Arts. Today's show begins at 7:30 p.m. Fridays is also at 7:30 and Saturdays is set for 2:30. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. A spike in gas prices.
The Colonial Pipeline is back up and running, but many may still find massive lines at gas stations. I'm Laura Podesta with details on why problems should continue at the pump for several days.
Plus, you can still call in to the vaccine question hotline at Mercy Hospital. We're going to check back in with the call center and our own Zach Dodge later in the show. But first, it's 6:37.
We not only have set the record low for May 13th in Chanute, we've now find ourselves within 1 degree of tying it at Joplin Regional Airport. That one at Joplin, that dates back to 1952 and 1964. Magic number being 42 degrees. Wait till we get to the KOM news at noon. Then we can talk about the sunny skies and temps in the 60s. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, the Colonial Pipeline shutdown has ended, but the gas shortage in the South is not quite over. CBS's Laura Podesta has details on when things should get back to normal, plus the real reason gas prices have been ticking up.
Colonial Pipeline restarted operations Wednesday evening, but said it will be several days before fuel deliveries return to normal.
I've never seen anything like this.
Until then, the Southeast can expect the gas shortage to continue, with drivers searching.
My fifth one that I've been to.
And waiting in long lines to fill up their cars.
It's like the toilet paper fiasco all over again.
Tensions are high.
There might be a shootout to try to get gas.
These two people in North Carolina were charged with assault after an argument over their spots in line. GasBuddy.com says more than 70% of gas stations in that state are without fuel.
People run out and hoard. That's going to mean less fuel for people that very much need it. Thinking first responders, frontline workers who need to get to work, because once it's out, it's out.
The frenzy began after a ransomware attack targeted Colonial Pipeline on Friday, forcing the company, which delivers 40% of the fuel to much of the East Coast, to shut the pipeline down. GasBuddy analyst Patrick DeHaan says the spike in prices has more to do with Americans emerging from the coronavirus pandemic than the shutdown.
There is a very small amount that prices have gone up because of the pipeline, just maybe a penny or two, and that's likely as bad as it's going to get.
According to AAA, the average national price for gas is above $3 a gallon for the first time since 2014. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
President Biden will deliver remarks at the White House later today about Colonial Pipeline and the gas shortage. He's likely to use the moment to urge Congress to pass his infrastructure and jobs bill. In the meantime, the president signed an executive order yesterday aimed at hardening the federal government's cybersecurity defenses. The judge in Derek Chauvin's trial has ruled that there were 4 aggravating factors in the killing of George Floyd. That decision allows the judge to give Chauvin a longer prison sentence. Chauvin could face up to 40 years in prison for second-degree murder, up to 25 years for third-degree murder, and up to 10 years for manslaughter. Judge Peter Cahill on Wednesday ruled that 4 of those factors were proven beyond a reasonable doubt. 2 of the factors were particular cruelty and abuse of trust and authority. The other 2 factors were that children were present. Chauvin acted as part of a group when he killed Floyd. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. On this vaccine day here on the KOAM Morning News, we made it the focus of our KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta Poll, because with an eye toward herd immunity, top U.S. officials encouraging parents of 12 to 15-year-olds to get their children vaccinated. However, officials say now one of the biggest obstacles to ending the pandemic is what's called vaccine hesitancy. And if you have any questions, that number right there on the bottom of your screen, 800-942-2727, where we have 4 state health experts standing by to answer your phone calls at Mercy Joplin. And our own Zach Dodge out there, we're going to check back in with him as well. Our Insta Poll question this morning, and once again, those phone banks open right now, running all the way until 6:30. You remain anonymous. As Zach said, there is no such thing as a bad question. So if you have any questions, let's take advantage of this throughout the course of our Thursday. Our question for you, where do you currently stand on the vaccine? Right now, 53% of you say fully vaccinated, and in second place, 38% of you say not getting one. 5% coming up uncertain. Might be a great time to take advantage of that health line out there at Mercy Joplin. We'll be back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries for you right after this.
Don't forget the phone lines are open at our Vaccine Day call center in Mercy Hospital. You can call that number down at the bottom of the screen to be immediately connected to an expert who can answer any of your COVID vaccine questions. The lines will be open until 6:30 this evening. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. CDC gives the green light to using Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine in children as young as 12. That's nearly 17 million more Americans eligible to get the shot. President Biden says by next week, 60% of Americans are expected to have received at least 1 dose of a COVID vaccine. Cherokee County Sheriff's Office offers a $500 reward for information leading to the arrest of Gravestone vandals. Officials discovered damaged headstones Tuesday at the Lowell Cemetery located right outside of Baxter Springs. They ask anyone with information to contact the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. And a Parsons, Kansas man is in jail accused of punching and then shooting at a woman at a gas station. It happened around 10 Tuesday night. Police say the suspect got into an argument with the victim at the Pete's on Main Street in Parsons. That argument spilled outside and turned violent when police say the suspect punched the victim and then shot at her multiple times. The woman was not hit by any of the shots. The suspect walked away from the scene and was arrested later on North Central. Authorities have not yet filed formal charges. The nation's largest fuel pipeline is restarting operations after a cyber attack forced it to be shut down last Friday. Colonial Pipeline says it will take a few days to fully restore operations. The shutdown sparked a run on gasoline, sending the average price at the pump above $3 a gallon for the first time in more than 6 years. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Despite record-breaking cold on this Thursday morning, we're going to be able to roar up into the mid-60s later on. Plenty of sunshine. Really don't have to worry about any rain until we get into tomorrow morning. That will not be widespread. It will be widespread thunderstorm activity for both Saturday and Sunday morning with temperatures into the mid-70s.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a balsamic flank steak in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
What up? Our own Zach Dodge hanging out there at Mercy Joplin in order to help you answer all your vaccine-related questions. So we're going to be checking back in with Zach. Zach, you want to wrap it up, take us out of here? How are things going down there your way?
We're starting to hear the phone lines ring, but they will be open all day for you to call and get your COVID-19 vaccine questions answered. We'll hear more about it in the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Sounds great, partner. We will be checking in with you and all those wonderful doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals who have dedicated their Thursday morning and afternoon and evening to helping all the 4 states answer those vaccine-related questions. That wraps it up for this Thursday edition. Try to stay warm this morning. Have a great day. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.